Welcome, folks, to the 2025 NFL season preview video. We're now going to the NFC South. Yep, that's where my team is: the Bucks, the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers. So if you enjoy this series, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more sports news. Of course, we have one more division left in the NFC West, which I'll get to that schedule after this video. Without further ado, the 2025 NFL season preview, the NFC South. In fourth place in New Orleans is the Saints. I have the Saints going 2-15, which means I project them to get the number one pick of the 2026 NFL Draft. Now, Kellen Moore is their head coach, first-time head coach, of course. He's been waiting to become a head coach, which he deserves it, but he has a room of quarterback problems. Now, the job comes down to Tyler Shuck, 25 years old, against Spencer Rattler, who's entering year 2 or year 3 with New Orleans. If I were to name a starter, I would probably go with Tyler Shuck. He is 25 years old. He has experience playing the position of quarterback. Of course, he spent a lot of time in college. So they can go with that. Or Spencer Rattler, who, of course, had some moments in Oklahoma, then transferred to South Carolina. And he had some quite of starting games for the Saints. So maybe we could see the next guy in line for Spencer Rattler. But again, the roster's some questions, of course. Can Chris Olave still stay healthy? Will Kamara be that 1,000-yard rushing yarder that we see him back in, 3-4 years ago, if I'm mistaken? And can the defense get right? Now, they do have a new defensive coordinator in Brandon Staley. He's going to be the new DC. So a lot of questions surrounding the defense, of course, Demario Davis, of course, Cam Jordan, of course, who are getting older. They did, however, bring in Justin Reed from the Chiefs, and they did lose Tyrann Mathieu just a couple weeks ago to retirement. And they had Derek Carr retirement about 3 months ago or 2. So the worst scenario, I just mentioned it, 2-15. If they can't get any quarterback play, either Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, or Jake Hader, because he might end up staying in this team, I got them 2-15. The ceiling is either one of those two quarterbacks can perform really good against maybe the Panthers. Maybe they could play competitive against the Panthers. Maybe the Falcons. Maybe the guys that are under their win column, like the Giants. But I'm going to go with a 5-12 ceiling. It may not be that high, but it's where I am for the Saints. I got them 2-15. I just don't see the Saints this year. And I'll make a bold prediction for them. I will not be surprised, or I would be surprised, if the Saints do not fire Kellen Moore. Because they might figure it out that Kellen Moore is still the man in New Orleans. With that being said, Saints 2-15, fourth place. Get the number one pick. In third place, this was a debate between Atlanta and Carolina. But where the rosters are going as of now, I have the Panthers in third place with a 7-10 record. Dave Canales in his third year, actually his second year as Panthers head coach. There are some questions on the offense, of course, including Bryce Young entering his third year as the starting quarterback for the Panthers. He needs to have a breakout year. Of course, they did draft T-Mac from the draft. Future of Adam Thielen. Of course, new reports are saying that the Vikings are trying to bring back Adam Thielen. So that would be a big-time push and probably a big loss for the Panthers' wide receiving room. Defense has a lot of questions. Can they improve from last season? Of course, they brought in guys like Bobby Brown, Christian Rosenboom, Nick Scott back in Carolina. The question for the defense is, can they be even better than last year? I think they could get even better. Maybe they will find a way to stop the run, and their pass D needs to step up this year as well. But the big elephant in the room is Bryce Young. Can he get a breakout year in year number 3? If he does, then year 4 will be a major question. Either do they keep him or will they let him play out to 2026 season? That's my question. But I got the Panthers at 7-10. The floor could go 5-12 if they had the same season as last year. The defense is not improved. 5-12. The ceiling could be this higher if Bryce Young becomes the second half Bryce Young we saw last season, and the defense is very improved, stopping the run, and pass defense is really good. I got them at 9-8, which could maybe sneak into the playoffs. And I got the Panthers this year with a 7-10 record. One more year, Panthers fans, we'll get to the playoffs next season. But I don't know about this year. Second place, the Atlanta Falcons. I got them 8-9. Raheem Morris is coming in his second year. And now it's time for Michael Penix to be the starting quarterback for the Falcons. I had expectations last season. I had them first place in my last prediction video, but unfortunately, Kirk Cousins did not have that Minnesota special for Atlanta. So now here comes Michael Penix as the starter. Big questions surrounding on him, as well as the defense. Of course, they just changed their defense coordinator to Jeff Ulbrich. They brought in Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr. from the draft, so that's some big help on the pass rushing help. But all the question will be on Michael Penix. Can he have a better year, his year 2? What would an offense with Michael Penix look like this year under Zach Robinson, who is the offensive coordinator, who has been there with the Rams with Sean McVay, pass game coordinator, and now year 2, it's the offensive coordinator. Now it's going to do whatever it takes to get Michael Penix and the Falcons to the playoffs. Their floor would be like last season. If Michael Penix does not proceed like year 2, and then Kirk Cousins comes in, defense is not improved, maybe Raheem Morris gets fired after year 2, they probably end up 7-10. The ceiling could be maybe if they do beat Tampa, they maybe split with Carolina, they sweep the Saints, maybe they end up as a 10-17, which would be enough to win the division, maybe at a top 4th seed in the NFC. But my division winner, I hate to do this, but I have the Buccaneers winning it. It would be 5 years in a row for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got them 9-8. I do think they lost Dave Canales 2 years ago. He's a head coach now. They still won the division without him. Now they lost Liam Cohen to Jacksonville, and I still do think they're going to win the division without Liam Cohen. And their quarterback can just bake on. Baker Mayfield had one of his best seasons, tied at second with 41 passing touchdowns last season. So can he have a more like an MVP season? Now, I'm not saying quote, quote, MVP year, but could he perform like he is playing his MVP season? So you got Mike Evans. They brought back Chris Godwin, which unfortunately he's not going to be ready until October. So they did address that wide receiver position and drafting Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, which is a massive push there. Bucky Irvin is going to be their running back 1. Rashad White will be their running back 2, of course. But all eyes on the defense. Now, they did bring in Hassan Reddick. 1-year deal. Good. Can that defense improve this year? I think they could with Todd Bowles calling the defense. And again, this is a team a lot of people will say maybe this is going to be one of the more sneakier teams to get to the NFC Championship game. Hey, I'm not going to lie. I agree with you guys. But as a Panthers fan, I don't want to see the Bucs in the NFC Championship game. So what's the floor? The floor is this. If this is the scenario, which I had them 9-8, if they somehow get swept by the Falcons and the Panthers in their last game, they lose to Carolina and the division goes to Atlanta or Carolina, either way, they fall to a 7-10 record, which, yes, their schedule will still be brutal, but they got to face a Falcons team that's led by a left-handed quarterback in Michael Penix and a Panthers team that should be very improved this year. So the Bucks have two contenders, but for the Saints, yeah, they can sweep the Saints. Their ceiling could be this higher if they sweep Atlanta and Carolina somehow, and they play very competitive football. I got them in a 10-7 season. I think they could sneak in that third 3 seed in the NFC, but I have them as the 4th seed in the NFC, and I have the Bucks winning the NFC South 5 years in a row. That's it for my NFC South predictions. Now, my NFC West, I will be doing this tomorrow. So, yes, this will be the last 2 videos. So, the NFC West is tomorrow. And then my playoff prediction, which includes Super Bowl 60 prediction, will happen hopefully on a Tuesday. So, stay tuned because we're getting closer to the 2025 NFL season. Hello there. If you have not seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more sports news.